Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and I'm up today with another Panalisa Let's Make This. And today I'm going to be using this gorgeous farmland pad again, and we're going to be using that lovely little duck paper, and I'm also going to be using this die, which is a duck or a chicken die. It's entirely up to you, but as I'm using the duck paper, not the chicken paper, I've decided I'm going to do the duck because I just think it's really cute. So I've got that cut apart, so I need to do some die cutting. That little ducky bit will be for my card base. I had a scrap of this left, so I'm going to use that as the very card base. I'm using my chalks, my blending tools, a little bit of glue. Here are my chalks. Yes, there they are. Jane Davenport. You can get them directly from her website if you want to. And stretching across the desk, I'm going to be using some Dollar Tree foam tape. Right, I'm off to die cut and I'll be right back. Right, so I've done all that, and I've used basil cardstock from Joanne, you know, when it's on sale for 25 cents a sheet. And I've cut the eyes, and I've done blues and blacks for the eyes. You get 3 pieces to do the eyes, and they need gluing together. You get 2 little trotters, flippers, flappers, I don't know what they're called, duck's feet, yeah, you know. And you get 2 little wings, and you get the body. I'll move the egg out of the way for a minute, and look at that cute head. I mean, if you don't want to do the face, you can use your Peachy Keen stamps and stamp on there. It's really sweet. Now this one is if you want to do your duck sideways on and swimming. So before I make it into a seated duck, I'll show you how that goes. So if you want to do it sideways, that's the body for sideways, and then you pop its little head on and its features, and then you would add, I don't know if that one's the right way around, but you would add, I think it's this one of his little wings there, so it can go sailing across the pond. So you can see this die has many uses, you see. You've got Easter, you've got farm, you've got babies first. You could have, you know, lots of little bath bubbles going around that for a baby first card. And then not only do you get the duck beak, which is what I'm using today, you also get the chicken beak. So if that was cut in white, for example, or even in yellow, you've got a little chicken beak, so you can be duck or you can be chicken. So that's excellent. And with it comes an egg, and the egg is cracked, so you can have just the head poking out. He can be sitting next to his egg. I'm having him sitting next to his egg today, so I'm going to move the sideways body bit and the little chicken beak, and these are the pieces that I'm going to be using. Now I have cut the base, and I used some of that green dot as I said I was going to use, and there's the farmlands piece, and I put a little sort of limey green organza bow just at the base of it, so I can have my duck going on up here. But I just thought those colours were, you know, cute and happy. But look at that, isn't that sweet? Absolutely love it. Yeah, you can make your duck in whatever colour you want. Right, so I'm going to move the base, and the first thing we're going to do is the egg, because I want to put some shading on it. So I've got a scrap piece of paper here, and I've got the 2 bits of egg, and where they meet and down at the bottom I want to put some grey in there. So I'm just going into my tube here and finding a grey colour. So I've got a little bit of grey on that one, so that one will do. I never bother to wash these. I just you know, rub them clean on a piece of paper, and even though they're still marked, the stuff doesn't come off, so it's great. Right, so this pad is called Palette Pastel Chilled, and this is the one that I'm using. So I've got a little bit on there. Now if you look at the egg, you can see it's got a bit of an embossed edge, which is perfect. So you have to excuse any little bits that I've got off my die cutting machine on here, and I want to go around the edge at the bottom because that's going to be in shadow. Always talking about these chalks. They're absolutely wonderful. You can find some of the other palettes on eBay, but the flesh ones for doing colour characters are not so easy to find at all. And then I'm going to go and I'm just going to do the back edge of my egg. Because I want a bit of shadow. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe it's more apparent when I put it like down there. You can see it. It does cast a shadow. So I need a little bit more to cast off in that direction. So I'm just going to go up there, and up there. And then because I've got a clean bit behind, I can just blend that back in. There. And that is what I've got. And I hope that you can see it because it's really, really subtle. If you ever want to go in dark, you know, you can just put it back down on your cardstock and just keep adding as much or removing as much as you want. Right, now for the top part of the egg, I'm going to do exactly the same. Remembering my light, for some reason, always comes in from the left. So everything on the right, I usually put in shadow. And that's just force of habit for me. So knowing that, this side of my egg is going to be a lot darker. So I'm just coming in and doing that bit there. And then all of these points are going to be in shadow. I'm just going up there. And it just adds, you know, just a little extra touch to whatever it is that you're doing. So that's the top of my egg and that's the bottom of my egg. Now the next thing that I want to put some chalks on is the cheeks. And I don't necessarily know where my beak's going to go in relation to my eyes yet, but if I just put my ducky beak there, I can kind of say within that general area is where I want to pink my cheeks up. So I've got a little bit of pink on that side, and that one is a bit too bright for me, so I'm going to go into this one, and I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go with this one. And this one is called the Birthday Suit palette. So I'm just grabbing some here, and I've got quite a lot on. So first of all, go onto your test piece. Make sure it's exactly as you would want it. And I'm going to move my duck beak over and decide to put down a circle there and a circle there. Now if it starts to wear off on you, don't worry. Then we can just enlarge that just to add a little bit of character. I might need to put a little bit more on as well, actually. I'm looking at one cheek to the other. One cheek looks higher up. That usually means you need coffee. When your characters start going, you know, a bit skew-if. And I want to bring it in a bit to that beak. So now I need to make this side a little bit bigger as well. And don't be afraid to go underneath and use your blush for a little bit of shadow. Now, you may or may not be able to see that. It's very, very subtle. And I think that on the bum part of my chick, I don't know whether... So I'm piecing it together. Yeah, it goes that way around. I'm going to have a little bit of shadow down here. So I'm just going to go back into the pink and just wear off what I've got on my brush, and including the grey. So I've gone grey and pink down there just a little bit, so that will look nice. Just scoop that up. And the next thing is all of the gluing and the piecing together. Right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to put the beak on, because the beak will give you what's in relation to the eyes. So I want my beak to come forward, so I'm using a little bit of my Dollar Tree foam tape, and I'm just grabbing my scissors here, and I only need a thin slither, because you never really want your tape peeking out from the object, if you know what I mean. You want to hide all those bits. So I'm looking at that there, and I need to trim a little piece off, so I'm just going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to decide where I want it, and I do want it in the middle. I think I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go there. Now, one of the other things that you can do is you can take your beak and you don't necessarily have to curl it up. You can curl it down if you want to, but I kind of like the idea of that. Slightly pulled away from the face. So now we've got a little bit of dimension there, and I hope I got that on straight. If not, I'll just give it a squeeze, and that will do it. Right, now the eyes, I've got my pickup tool, and it's always useful to have something like that when doing eyes. You can kind of decide which direction you want to have your eyes going in, and that all depends on where you place the iris and the pupil. So, you know, you can make your critters look really mean, or you can make them look really cheeky, you can make them look bored, or it all depends where you position the eyes. So I'm going down into the corners with my glue, because I'm pretty sure that that's where I'm going to have that. I mean, I don't mind having my little chicken, or shall I say my duck, looking downwards. So I'm going to go in that direction, I think, and push that one back up. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So there's two, and now you need to do the pupils, and you have got areas here that you can add your white gel pen to, or if you've got patience you can dot white cardstock into them. But I'm going to go with the largest light point at the top, and just kind of try and think about how your eyes are going to be as to where you're going to place your little dot of glue. So I'm just going to pick that up and position it. And if I feel that I don't like how the eyes are going to look, I would start to move them. But I quite like that. So I'm just making sure everything's tucked within its borders, and it is. And I think that's fine. Now, how close to the beak do we want to go? That's the thing. So, oh, that one stuck to my finger with its glue, so we can kind of like grab those and stick them on. Now, the higher up you go, it's kind of like the older and more serious your character can look. And the more sort of like closer you go and the lower down you go, it's all right, things are still sticking to me, the cuter they can look. Do you see that? So you can totally change the way something is. It looks very grown up the higher up you go. So if you get them, I mean, that's probably too low down, I don't know. Got to look on my camera. Now that to me is cute zone, so I'm quite happy with that. And I can just about remember where I had them. So I'm going to put a dot of glue there and a dot of glue there. And I have got, you know, sort of like sufficient glue that will all spread out as I move stuff. So let's pop them there, and if I don't like it I can still slide them around. Yeah, I think that's okay. And of course, as I press, the glue underneath, that bead of glue is going to squish. So now we've got the little body. Now if you want the head to come forward, use a bit of foam tape, which is what I am going to do. and I'm cutting, I think maybe that thickness should do it. I'm going to pop it onto the top of the body like this. Then I've got a bit underneath should I want to stick it right down onto my card. But I've got to hold this up in the air. I'm just blowing off the fluff. And I'm going to go there. So we've now got the head with a little bit of dimension. And you can see where it's stuck. And if I put it down, it's going to stick to my paper. So I'm just going to flip him over just for a minute and put tape on the back, because I want him to be completely up off the page. So I've got my two pieces here. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to pop that one on there and that one onto there. Now what that will do is elevate that up, I hope, while I've got it stuck down here. Now the feet are super easy. I don't know what you call them, flippers, flappers or something, and you can position those where you want. I want mine kind of to the outside, looking a little bit silly and a bit skew-if. So I'm just going to pick those up and pop one there and one there. So now we've got our little duck feet. The next thing, of course, is the wings, and you can orient them whichever direction you want. So, you know, it could be all arms up in the air, or turn it the other way around, and you've got them in a kind of traditional and downward setting. Now I want these on top of the body, so I'm looking at where the head is and where I want those, and I'm going to go with a blob of glue there and a blob of glue there, and then I'm going to use my pickup tool again. I'm just going to grab that one and pop it halfway to the body, because for me that's cute. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing there, and I hope that those are even. If they're not, I can just, you know, push them around a bit. Like that one might need to go up just a little bit. I think that's it. Yeah. And then you can give them a little squeeze. Now it's time to bring in the base of the card. I'll just move the egg out of the way for a second. So now we can, you know, pop our little chickie there. Now if you're going to stamp a sentiment, I would actually stamp it onto the egg, to be honest with you. I think that would be a perfect place. Now you could have your chickie dead center, but because I'm going to position my egg just behind him, and I don't know if I'm doing it flat or if I want to lift that. If I put that onto foam, it means I have to double foam this one, and I think I'm going to glue it flat. So I'm going to go here with my glue and position it. So just a little bit all the way around, knowing that some is definitely going to squeeze out, and I don't mind going under my bow and off my edge a little bit. I'm absolutely okay with that. And I could have a little bit of the egg hanging on his head, and I think I am going to do that. But first of all, I'm going to stick my chickie down, and then I'm going to glue his other half of his egg on top of his head. So here goes. You've got to imagine that he's just come out of there. Just move that bow. Hope I got him on straight. Yes, I did. And now a little bit of glue onto the side here, and he's going to look like he came from there. Actually, he doesn't need glue, he needs foam tape, because he needs to come up the same height as that chicken duck. Yeah, duck chicken. See, I'm even forgetting what I'm making while I'm making it. Goodness me. Ah, dearie me. I hope everyone's going to have an awesome day today. It's going to be a little bit hot here. Now, I do want to see his hair, and I'm wondering if it's like, you know, you could have it falling off his head, or whether it has to be on his head. I think I'm going to put it there. There, I've committed myself. So my duck is hatched. And as I said, if you wanted to do a sentiment, I would certainly, you know, stamp it there, or maybe there if you want a little bit of eggy on your chickie or your ducky. And I'm hoping that my camera is going to focus. So I'm going to come out. Yes. I'm going to blame it on the weather. You know, it's really hot. I've got like 99, let's find it. 99% humidity. There we go. I'm going to go very, very slowly now so that you can see it. There. Cute ducks, or a cute chickie if you want to make one. And the versatility of having that body that will go in a different direction, and having the little chick beak as well. Right, I thank you so much for joining me today, and as I said, do have an absolutely wonderful day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.